The sun's already sliding toward the horizon when the daggers finally come out. 23 cuts, each one sold to the public as a mercy blow for a dying republic that had, frankly, already checked out. March 15, 44 BC. Julius Caesar, fresh from conquering Gaul and bossing Rome around, collapses beneath a garish statue of his old frenemy Pompey. Blood snakes across the marble, and above the racket of panic one question keeps ringing: how does the most powerful man on the planet end up murdered by the same suits who used to give him standing ovations? To get that answer, we don't just rewind to the Rubicon or the siege of Alesia. We go further, past the marble columns and purple robes, to a cramped house in the Subura where a kid with an old name but an empty purse first figures out how to make a crowd hang on every syllable. This is the story of how raw ambition, wild vision, and nerves of granite rewrote 2 continents and, without anyone really planning it, jump-started an empire. Born in 100 BC to a family that had more genealogy than cash, Caesar grew up on dinner table tales of heroic ancestors who'd supposedly hung out with gods. His aunt had hitched herself to Marius, the general who threw open Rome's gates to the Italian allies. From her, Caesar learned that real power wasn't planted in country estates but lived and died in the forum's daily shouting match. At 16, he trades the purple-bordered toga of a kid for the plain white one of a man. At 19, he's dodging Sulla's prescription lists. Lesson learned: Roman politics can kill you faster than a Gaul with a battle axe. So what does he do? He rebuilds the family bank account by suing crooked governors, always a crowd pleaser, then throws games so spectacular they almost bankrupt him. The people don't mind, they remember who fed them and who gave them blood in the arena. When Caesar speaks, his voice rolls like a trumpet, and every rival who ever sneered at him gets a verbal jab in the ribs. Fast forward to 60 BC. Caesar cuts a deal that makes the old guard clutch their pearls. He teams up with Pompey, Rome's golden boy, and Crassus, the guy so rich he could probably buy Mount Olympus. The pact is dirt simple. Caesar gets the consulship and command of 3 legions, Pompey's veterans get land, Crassus gets a shot at military glory against Parthia. Behind the Senate's grand marble facade, traditionalists mutter that the Republic has just been sold at a fire sale. They aren't wrong. For the next 8 years, Caesar goes on the biggest military campaign ever, conquering a ton of land in a place called Gaul. And get this, after every battle, he sent updates back to Rome. It was like the world's first live tweeting of a war, and the people back home ate it up. At one of the most insane battles ever, Alesia, he trapped the entire enemy army inside their own fortress by building a giant wall around it. But then, another army came to attack him from behind, so he built a second wall facing outwards. He was literally fighting a war on 2 fronts at the same time. Then, just because he could, he decided to invade Britain. Twice. No Roman had ever done that before. People back in Rome were hearing crazy stories about giant oysters and warriors who fought with no clothes on. This guy was becoming a living legend. But by 49 BC, his old teammate Pompey gets jealous. He and the Senate tell Caesar to give up his army and come home. It was a total setup. Does Caesar listen? No. He marches his army across a tiny river called the Rubicon and basically says, "We're doing this." He just declared war on his own government. And just like that, a massive civil war kicks off. It's Caesar versus Pompey, the ultimate showdown. At the final battle, Caesar's smaller, more experienced army absolutely crushes Pompey's forces. Pompey runs away to Egypt, but then the Egyptians kill him, which is just wild. When Caesar gets there and they show him Pompey's head, he actually cries. He wasn't happy his rival was dead, he was sad about how messed up the Republic had become. But with every awesome change he made more enemies. The rich old politicians hated that he was giving power to normal people. Then he announced a new war, and a rumor started that he wanted to be king. This was the final straw. On the morning of March 15th, a guy literally ran up to him and said, "Beware the Ides of March," but Caesar just laughed and walked right past him. He walks into a meeting, and bam! 60 senators surround him and pull out daggers. It was an ambush. The final stab came from Brutus, a guy Caesar had pardoned and treated like a son. It was the ultimate betrayal. The assassins yelled, "We saved the Republic," but they were so wrong. The people of Rome were furious, and within 2 years, every single one of the assassins was hunted down and killed. This kicked off another massive civil war, and guess who won? Caesar's adopted son, Octavian. He would become the first Roman emperor. So by killing Caesar to save the Republic, they actually destroyed it and created an emperor. The truth is, the Republic was already broken, full of corruption and fighting. Caesar was just the one who saw that Rome needed a single, strong leader to hold it together. In trying to be that leader, he changed everything. The borders of Europe, the calendar on your wall, even words for king like Kaiser and Tsar all come from him.